Getting jacked is actually pretty simple. In this video, I will walk you through how you do it in the most simple way. So let's first talk about this meta-analysis, because it examined two types of training: periodized training and non-periodized training. It went over 35 studies and tried to find whether periodizing your training will actually yield you more results. Periodization is the systematic planning of the variables of your training in a way that allows you to peak in certain periods and to reduce fatigue in other periods, so you get more results long term and avoid overtraining and the over-accumulation of fatigue. Basically, you try to optimize everything to the greatest extent by periodizing everything. The results of this study, so now that you know what it is, if you knew what it was before and then great, you probably guess that it should yield more results because it is just about optimizing everything, and in the grand scheme of things, optimizing everything is how you get more results. You get more jacked, more muscle built. But so the results of this meta-analysis were that in strength there is a small but significant increase in strength in the periodized style of training, but for hypertrophy this difference is very small, and especially small for beginner. Essentially, the more towards the beginner phase you are, the less important it becomes. If you are a beginner, it is not important at all, and if you are advanced, it is a bit more important. It yields a little bit more results, but it's way more complicated. And that is the thing, more complicated is not necessarily good. In this video, I will go over resistance training. This is how you get in shape, basically. This is a system that I made that is pretty generalized but accurate on how you get in shape. I want to talk about resistance training because in the grand scheme of things, building muscle is the biggest aspect of getting jacked. There are actually three things that you need to keep in mind when training that will make you much more jacked and will yield you most results, and basically will be the difference between no results to a lot of results. And when now you know that periodization is just the cherry on top of a lot of results, you put periodization and you get all results. Basically, right? You do everything correctly, but the marginal benefit of the basics is the biggest. Let's start with progressive overload. Progressive overload is just about getting stronger throughout the weeks. If you progressively get stronger in the exercises that you do throughout the weeks, you induce hypertrophy. That's the most simple way to do it. It's not just about this, it's about another things that I will go over in a second, hypertrophy, but strength, it is just about this. If today you lift 60 kg for 10 reps, and tomorrow you will lift 60 kg for 10 reps, and next week you will lift 60 kg for 10 reps, and in 2 weeks you will lift 60 kg for 12 reps, you get stronger. You will get stronger and you will build muscle, and that means that you're building muscle. But on the other side, if today you lift 60 kg for 10 reps and a month from now you will lift the same weight, and 3 months from now you will lift the same weight, that means there is no progressive overload. You are not building a lot of muscle, and you should know things differently because you are not progressively getting stronger. Progressive overload is both an indicator that you're doing most things correctly, because if you get stronger, right, and it is the thing that brings muscle gain, because hypertrophy comes from getting stronger throughout the weeks with one more thing. So that's the first principle of training you should follow. You should scheme your trainings in a way that allows you to progressively get stronger. You do it by putting rest periods between workouts. Right, diet is also a massive aspect that I won't touch in this video, and you sleep enough. No, I will not touch this in this video. And then there is exercise execution. That's the second thing. So once you make sure that you realize that you need to progressively get stronger throughout the weeks and the exercise that you do, there is exercise execution, the way you execute these exercises. There are two main aspects to this thing. The first one is technique. Technique is basically how do you perform the exercise in relation to how we should do it. Decent exercises should go through the movement pattern of the muscles that they should grow. A bicep curl should go through the movement pattern of the bicep. A tricep extension, an exercise that targets the tricep, should extend the elbow. You should go through, technique is about going through the range of motion of the exercise and making sure that you activate the right muscles and having some control in the eccentric, so you induce more hypertrophy, because the eccentric is an hypertrophic part of the movement. And then there is intensity. And this is the more important for hypertrophy part of these two things. So technique is the prerequisite to the intensity. If your technique is really bad, right? You will not really target the right muscles. But once you take off technique to a good enough extent, to an extent where you target the right muscles, and you control the movement to some extent, so you actually deliver the tension to the right muscles, and you deliver it to the muscle, and you don't just use gravity to right drop it down when you perform the eccentric and the concentric, you must use it, right? And you need to take off of intensity, because without it, so here's the thing, there is this study, it's not a study, it's a meta-analysis that concluded that IR significantly influences hypertrophy, not strength, right? Strength is more about how ischemic training and progressive overload, but hypertrophy, intensity, RER, is basically a metric for reps in reserve, how many reps you have left in the tank until you get to failure, from failure. Basically, it is a massive variable when it comes to inducing hypertrophy. You should train hard for induce a lot of hypertrophy. This is a pretty well-known diagram that showcases what's the best intensity. As you can see, failure induces a lot of fatigue, but the best range for hypertrophy is between an RIR of 0 to around 4, and that's the RIR that you should train for. And then there is training plan. A training plan includes exercises for the muscles that you wanna grow. If you want to grow your chest, you should train it. If you wanna grow your arms, you should train them. There are a few ways of scheming a training plan: push-pull legs, upper lower, the bar split. You should find one that you like, and you should do it consistently over weeks and months to apply the progressive overload to it, a principle, to train hard in each one of the exercises that you do in it, and you will build a lot of muscle. It's as simple as that, and that's essentially it. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.